Next topic.
Yeah, this topic wasn't sent in by anybody.
We home cooked this
For
one.
for once in a great while, we come up with a topic.
It was kind of inspired by something going on.
That's true.
In that Keeley and Supro are collaborating to put out an amp that is basically a pedal platform amp.
Mm-hmm.
It looks very attractive, and it has a kind of interesting price point. I think it was like $800 or something like that for a 25
I
watt.
actually didn't. I haven't read about it at all. This is this to me.
This is late breaking news.
This is
guys.
news.
This as far as we know, it was announced today when we were recording this. So I don't know all the details. I know it's a 25 watt amp. I know that it's got a effects loop that's designed to take amps. I mean to take pedals really well, and the front end of the amp is designed to take pedals really well. I mean, Keeley's got his name attached to it. I'm sure it's a great pedal platform amp. I mean, the Supro amps, as far as I've heard, are great amps and fun amps.
Yeah.
But the thing that we wanted to talk about is what we've been seeing with a lot of the older Supro stuff. And older, we mean like last year's stuff?
Last year's. They're really... I haven't seen as much with the amps, but I see it a lot with the guitars
all the time.
A bunch of their guitars that were, originally, like $700, $800, $900 are getting blown out of large retailers for like $400.
Sometimes cheaper. There's been a couple where I'm like, should I buy this? I don't want to lose money in this situation.
Yeah.
Because like they're so cheap. It's like if I wait a year or two, someone's going to want to buy this, right? For more.
And it's kind of interesting because I think I don't want to say we necessarily have like a pulse, but when I see that, I tend to think like, oh, it's just a store clearing out stock.
Right.
But I've definitely seen like...
But it's been across retailers.
Yeah, and
like
I've definitely seen a few people jump out and be like, wait, is this company going out of business?
Right.
Like, what's going on? And I think there is, and kind of what we were talking about is like, what do these stock clearances mean? And do they damage brands? And it's not just Supro. Like, Supro was what kind of brought this up. But I'm a fairly frequent follower of the... Musician's Friend Stupid Deal of the Day, and you see a lot of G&L guitars on there, and there are usually like the G&L Tribute Series, so the import line, and you see a lot of Pigtronics pedals on there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And,
I don't follow that. Not nearly as closely as you do. And
I've definitely, especially like when they'll do like a Stupid Deal of the Day, but it's like I forget what they call it, but basically they do like a stupid deal I don't know if it's every hour or they just do it until they run out and then they do a new deal.
Right.
Like something like that. So it's like they do like 24 stupid deals or whatever.
Sheesh.
But each one in sequence, right? And it seems like inevitably, like in fact, the last time they did one of those, somebody joked like, oh, it's going to be like 4 Nady microphones, 3 Pigtronics pedals, a Supro guitar, and 3 G&Ls, and like some Black Star stuff. And there definitely is, I don't know if it necessarily devalues the brand itself, but it does. I think to some people, at least, it seems it feels sketchy.
I mean, to me, someone who like when I'm shopping, I'm like trying to get the best deal I can and trying to feel like I got one over on the man. You know, if I've been looking at those guitars and I know that they've been blown out in the past, it's going to make me a lot less likely to buy at a regular price.
Right.
I'm like, I can't get this now. I got to wait till the deal happens.
Yeah. And the flip side of it is like when the prices are so low, even if it's good, like I was in Sam Ash.
It also makes you think like, oh, were these bad?
What is this?
Were these guitars bad?
Yeah.
Is that why they're getting rid of them?
I was actually in Sam Ash when they had some of these Supro guitars for like $400, and I picked one up. I almost walked out with one.
I remember being impressed by them at NAMM. I thought they were cool.
They play well. They look really cool.
Especially the Resoglass ones.
I didn't plug it in, though. It was the one I was messing around with was a Resoglass one.
That's the other thing.
They feel so foreign to me.
When else are you going to get your hands on a Resoglass guitar if it's $400?
Yeah.
Man, I'm kind of bummed that I didn't pick one up.
They probably still have them. You just got to find the right store. Just look on guitarcenter.com.
I shouldn't buy another guitar, though, Steve.
Yeah.
This is a problem.
But you should. You should just sell some of your other guitars first.
I should sell guitars. I really should.
Anyway, I don't know. Do you feel like when you see a store, like when you see something blown out in a store, do you assume that it's because the manufacturer is dropping the price for some reason, or do you like?
To me,
What
whenever
does
I
that
see,
mean to
because
you?
it's like with the Supro stuff, you're seeing these deals across different retailers. So my assumption is that like whoever manages the Supro warehouse system
Yeah,
is like, we got to clear all these out so we can get the new stuff in from next year. Just mark it all down, move it, move it, move it. And that person who's in charge of that isn't aware that it could be hurting their brand.
right.
Where like maybe it would be better for them to go rent another warehouse space just to store this stuff and sit on it for a
But I
while.
mean, the flip side of that
Because it's
is
like the Supro resurgence is a fairly recent thing, like in like the last 4 years.
right. But I mean,
As a
I
brand?
have heard from people who have studied business that if a product sits on your shelf for more than 90 days, it's taking away from like the value of that shelf space.
We've got to preserve the value of the shelf space. No, they could stick all this stuff in a storage unit somewhere, and it wouldn't be that huge of a deal. I think
It wouldn't, but the reality is you have to do something with it. Like
friggin' harvest the parts off of them.
and put them on just new ones.
Yeah, and part them out as like an independent retailer sort of situation. Like, oh look, like send them all over to GFS. Like, oh look at all these bodies we got in with the
Yeah, but
the
do you
name
think-
sanded off.
Do you think GFS is so?
I mean, part of me is like, I appreciate that. Like, oh man, if I wanted one of those guitars really bad right now, I could go get a good deal on one. The other part of me is like, is sad to see them devaluing their brand,
Did you ever see the?
because I think it will hurt their brand in the long run.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Did you ever see like the real bulk wholesale pricing of T-shirts, like when you were working for? A
Oh,
t-shirt
yeah.
company? So like, if I want like a I don't know, blue typical T-shirt that like you would buy like a print, like not printed, just a blank in like any, I guess, any color
Yeah.
from that you would go into like a store and buy, but I was buying the wholesale. Like, what's the cost of a shirt?
Things get priced based on how many colors are used in the print.
No,
'cause
I'm
it's
saying
all-
like not even printed, just
oh,
blank.
just blank.
I'm saying how much is like a blank green Hanes beefy tee
Well, when I was in the biz,
if you're buying like 50,000 units at a time?
when I was in the biz like a decade ago, like well under $1
What, right, and
for a t-shirt.
and that's a shirt that like
I'm talking like 30-40 cents.
and like probably a Hanes beefy. I would expect if I was to go buy that from like a reseller, a place that does like printing, or like a Dickies outlet sort of
Yeah.
situation that also does a bunch of T-shirts.
well, if you buy direct from a t-shirt supplier, you're still gonna pay like $2.50
at least
for a shirt. Yeah.
like depending on,
And you
again,
have to
depending on your
you have to
numbers.
have a retailer's license to get at
Okay,
that.
right. I'm thinking like if I just go to t-shirtwholesale.com or whatever,
Right.
like I'm going to pay if I want like only 10 of those shirts, I'm going to pay like $6 a piece.
Sure.
Probably.
I mean, when Old Navy like does a t-shirt clearance and the shirts are like $5, they're
Yeah.
still making money.
Yeah. So where I'm going at with this is I don't think the money exists for Supro to say, you know what, like we're not selling this. We're going to recall all of our units from all of the stores. We're going to dismantle the guitars and then just
I'm not saying a recall of existing units already in stores. I'm saying the like clearing stock in their
own warehouse.
In their own warehouses.
I'm saying like I don't even think that the money is there for them to sell off their stuff to GFS, because GFS wants to buy those guitars that Supro is sitting on that stock going, well, we could drop the price to $400 and still sell it.
They'll still make more money.
GFS is sitting there going like, we'll buy those bodies at $5 a piece.
Right.
And so Supro, if they sell each part to GFS and GFS is just selling it as like professional grade parts, like their GFS doesn't want to pay more than $10 or $20 for an entire guitar.
we're pulling these numbers out of our butts, but I understand the concept. Yeah, they definitely can make more money by blowing these guitars out,
Yeah.
but I think the damage to their brand is going to cost them more money in the long run, because people are going to look at Supro when the Supro
Well-
stuff, when the Supro reissue stuff first hit NAMM like 4 years
It
ago.
was really exciting.
People were like, "Oh my gosh, this is fantastic! Of course, I'll pay over $1,000 for one of these amps. Of course, these guitars have got to be worth like $900, $1,200, or
Yeah.
whatever." But now that you've blown them out multiple times across multiple models,
Yeah.
for under $500, now people look at any Supro guitar as a $500 guitar.
And so I think that's something that can be fixed if they start managing like their production numbers better, because that's a issue
Sure.
of production numbers.
Maybe that was it. Maybe they made too many.
But I don't think it's necessarily like super bad, because I don't feel like too many people like I don't see people freaking out about it. I know people, like, when they've gone on stupid deal of the day or whatever, or like on clearance at Sam Ash, people will like flock to them to pick
Sure.
them up. So they're still like making their money, but definitely in the long run, they can't put out stuff and then clearance it out every year.
Like, imagine if Fender did that. Imagine if Fender was like, "Oh, 2017 American Fenders didn't sell well, so they're all $600 now."
Yeah.
Like, that'd be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, it would completely destroy like confidence in the brand.
So I guess I don't know. Like, does Fender have a better grasp on that? Like,
I think there's more of a guarantee that they're moving the guitars that they're making,
right. I just
so they
can't
don't have
imagine,
to worry about their warehouse.
I guess I just think about it, because in my head I'm like, well, I can't imagine like going to the store again, like say Guitar Center, and be like, okay, I want that Supro, and it's a new price. I'm like, well, I still want it. Like say I didn't know they were getting closed out, and the guy brings it out, and it's a 2016. I'm gonna be like, this guitar's 2 years old. Bring me out the stuff that just got made.
yeah.
I don't want something 2 years old. But then I guess I've never thought about it. Like when I've looked at Fender guitars in Guitar Center, like when I'm there in person, like I can't ever think of a time where I like was like, hold on, it's 2018. Is this a 2018?
Right.
And
I wouldn't look at any Supro in a guitar store and be like, "Oh, this is the model from 3 years ago. I'm not going to buy this. I want the newer one." Because I think in terms of the actual model specifics, like the actual features of it, not in the year
right,
it was
but
made.
I think there's something to be said for that in terms of instrument value, where if it's something's just been sitting around in the box for a while versus getting something brand new, like you're gonna want.
Yeah. I mean, I would expect a discount on something that had been sitting on
That's what I mean.
on the wall.
Oh, on the wall,
for
yeah.
3 years. You
Yeah.
know, I would take it to the front and be like, "Yeah, you could get me a new one from the back, and I'll pay full price. But I'll take this one off the wall right now for 20% off." You know, because this has been molested by these Guitar Center people. Like, it is gritty. Yeah, I just can't imagine any other big brand doing discounts that deeply on stuff that relatively isn't that old.
Yeah. But I guess that's, to me, like that's the big question to extend to like the listener and to the viewer is what do you guys think when you see these discounts or things on the Musician's Friend, stupid deal of the day, or you walk into your local big box, Sam Ash, Guitar Center, or whatever, and or Sweetwater, I think, had them as well, though I guess they're only one big box.
Sure.
And you see these like deep discounts on models, like, yeah, they're clearing out the, it's like cars. Oh, we're clearing out the 2017s to bring in the 2018s to clear out the 2008.
That is what it feels like.
Excuse
It feels
me.
like a car dealership.
But
Cars are different.
Yeah, but do you guys, listeners, do you guys think that devalues the brand? Because I agree with you. I feel like it kind of feels like, oh, I'll just wait. If I can wait till the end of the year, I can get a smoking deal.
Yeah. And that's what I said on the post about the Keeley amp, the collaboration with Supro, is like, "Oh, looks really cool. I'm going to wait till I can get one for $300 next year."
Right.
You know?
Right. You ready to hit this last ad?
Yeah, let's do it.